From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, October 1st, 2015. Silver is trading at $14.49 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,114 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $238. Antiwar.com reports having promised a hugely important announcement during his address to the UN General Assembly, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas on Wednesday announced that the Palestinian Authority no longer considers itself bound by existing agreements with Israel because the Israeli government keeps violating those pacts. Abbas in particular noted the 1993 Oslo Accord, which was supposedly to end the Israeli occupation of Palestine by 1999, noting that Israel is dramatically escalating settlement activities and has not terminated the occupation as promised. Saying the status quo can no longer continue, Abbas declared that Israel should consider itself obliged to fulfill all the responsibilities of an occupying power in the Palestinian territories. This would include ensuring food and medical supplies are provided to those living under occupation and explicitly forbids settlement. The Israeli Prime Minister's office condemned the announcement as incitement and demanded that Abbas unconditionally accept new talks with Israel. The past round of peace talks ended in failure when Israel reneged on promised prisoner releases. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the speech proved Abbas does not want a peace deal. Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. That's coinbase.fppradio.com. UPI reports Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin stepped in at the last minute to stop the execution of Richard Glossip on Wednesday afternoon, not over concerns about his guilt or innocence, but rather worries over the lethal injection procedure. Fallin was literally the last hope for Glossip after the U.S. Supreme Court denied a last-minute stay of execution earlier in the day. The High Court voted 8-1 in allowing Glossip's execution, scheduled for Wednesday, to proceed. The dissenting justice was Stephen Breyer, who argued in June that it is likely that capital punishment violates the Constitution's ban on cruel and unusual punishment. Fallin's intervention was based on concerns about the state's three-drug lethal injection method, which includes potassium acetate, which is not among the list of approved drugs for use in execution. Oklahoma state law allows potassium chloride, which can stop the heart, as an acceptable drug, but not potassium acetate. Fallin said in a statement Wednesday, last-minute questions were raised today about Oklahoma's execution protocol and the chemicals used for lethal injection. After consulting with the Attorney General and the Department of Corrections, I have issued a 37-day stay of execution while the state addresses those questions and ensures it is complying fully with the protocols approved by federal courts. The governor's executive order postpones Glossip's execution until at least November 6th. For over 35 years, Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and permanently removed the minimum purchase order for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 850-478-5270 or online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports ending weeks of infighting. The U.S. Congress on Wednesday voted to avert a government shutdown just hours before a midnight deadline, passing a stopgap measure to extend funding for federal agencies until December 11th. The House of Representatives relied heavily on Democrats to secure passage in a 277-151 vote. A large majority of Republicans voted against the measure, which did not meet conservative demands to cut off money to women's health care provider Planned Parenthood amid an abortion controversy. Obama welcomed the news with a tinge of sarcasm in remarks to a group of progressive state legislators in Washington. Obama said, "The good news is that it looks like the Republicans will just barely avoid shutting down the government for the second time in 2 years. That's a somewhat low bar, but we should celebrate where we can. The bad news is, it looks like the Republicans will just barely avoid shutting down the government again for the second time in 2 years." Earlier in the day, by a vote of 78-20, the Senate approved the legislation that was needed to keep the government running at current levels with the start of the new fiscal year on Thursday. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.